That's a blind crest there.
Hey, hang on, mate.
You're the skinny fat man.
Don't have to lose your head.
Is your name Brian?
You should know better. You're older than these guys.
What about your nickname, Wong?
Oh, that was fucking Panadol.
Thanks for the advice. We've got the Panadol and we're washing them down with some cold brews. So cheers to that lovely lady. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Buddha. How are you?
Always good, mate. It's a pleasure to be in your company.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we finally got this going. I thought we should get a podcast going.
Be rude not to, wouldn't it?
I hate the sound of my voice, so it's something I'm going to have to get used to. But
it's beautiful, bro. You sound like a young Tom Jones. But no, we're going to find our way through it. It's a bit of banter. First off, for those that don't know, explain that intro. Who are those people? They were off their lids.
That was a blast from the past for me. I've been going through some old footage, trying to pull out some audio grabs, and that, I might say, we caused a lot of trouble, did a lot of stupid things, but we were totally innocent in this instance.
I definitely believe you.
That
What
guy,
happened?
we were just filming box, so we just parked on the side of the road, not even in a dangerous spot. And this guy's just come in going feral at us. He's pulled his motorbike up with his wife on the back. He's parked on Mick Muir's wetsuit and he's just started going feral. And I think he thought, I'll show these kids a thing or two. And then our friend Tim Jones has hopped out the car. He's a big sort of 6'4", big unit. And I think he's kind of like, oh, hang on. But he's just gone off at us and we didn't deserve it. We were just trying to film the waves, minding our own business. And he's just, I think he had a screw loose, to be honest.
Must be from Bunbury, I reckon. Sounds shady.
Yeah, but it turns out once the video came out and he saw it back, he's gone to the papers, he's kicked up the biggest fuss, tried to get the video shut down and
Really?
claimed that we edited him to look bad, but that was raw footage.
That was just him being him, hey?
Yeah. So,
Jesus Christ, mate. Have a look at yourself. Where are they now, eh?
I don't know. He's got to say, his son's a legend, and I don't know. Hopefully, like I like to look in the positive of it. If he, like his temper was that bad that I could have foreseen him having a heart attack. So
Yeah, almost saved him.
maybe he might retrospectively have looked back now and think I overreacted, and maybe hopefully he calms down a bit now.
Ironically, he can see clearly now, eh? He was blind by rage.
Police, you're in a dangerous position on the fucking road. You could cause an accident. Take your fucking photos somewhere else. That's a blind crest there.
Hey, hang on, mate.
Excuse me. Excuse me?
Hey,
You're in a fucking dangerous
you don't
spot
have to
now.
talk
You'll
to us.
cause an accident.
You
Have
don't
got hazard
have to
indicators
talk
on?
to us like this, mate.
It's all right. We'll just go back to town, Joy. It's all right. Fucking crackers. Little shit teenagers like you. Body's just mashed up. Don't have to lose your head. Fucking hell.
Well, you should know better. You're older than these guys.
Oh, God. Have a fucking Panadol. Get...
Right. And then that crew I was with, Apsy, Muir, Jonesy, they're all mellowed guys.
Yeah.
Like, we were just,
Just doing your thing as kids.
Yeah.
What movies were they? I haven't seen any pictures or anything of it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, this is my little shrine. It's got some of my older work. But yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to make videos, had fun doing it. Did it for about 6-7 years, made 12 movies. So.
Yeah. For those that don't know, it was bodyboarding movies?
That's right,
Yep.
bodyboarding, yeah. So I used to bodyboard semi-professionally. I was pretty average, to be honest, but wanted to stay within bodyboarding, so started making movies and really enjoyed doing it. The thing, looking back through them now, is we just had the best time. The whole process, being creative and making a movie, it's an achievement, which I'm proud of, but I'm more proud of the good times we had doing it.
Yeah, it's always the stuff you reflect back on, isn't it? Well, I know from being a good friend of yours and then also a fan of your work, us kids growing up always enjoyed and loved all your movies and your creativity. It's amazing how you and the boys just had it as something you loved doing. You had a hobby, you loved the ocean, but the trickle effect it has shaping other people's lives and then gets them motivated to play sport. And
Yeah, for sure.
bodyboarders, like the amount of bodyboarders you would have inspired to pick up a bodyboard or run into some eskies at Big W. It all kind of went hand in hand, but that's the beauty of it. You have one sort of like role model, good or bad, and it shapes your sort of vision on everything.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. Appreciate
So
it.
yeah, it's good fun to see. And where are you now with it all? Like obviously it took you on some journeys. I couldn't imagine you guys getting into too much trouble apart from that incident.
Yeah, no, we had our moments, but yeah, like I said, I finished up a few years ago. Then I had kids.
Yeah.
Stayed away from surfing for a while, and then the bug sort of came back. So
Yeah.
got back into it again, but this time through photography.
Yeah.
Which that's what I'm sort of currently doing, I guess.
Hates a photo.
So yeah.
For those that are listening, we've got a big shrine here on the wall. For those that aren't viewing on YouTube, and it's got all of Chris's amazing work from when he was doing his DVD series, his bodyboarding series of Tension, and then through to some of his family photos and some adventurous photos that he's taken along the way. There is a fishing photo as well where he looks like, I thought it was a young Stewie Jew. You were eating well then. You're in a good paddock back then, Chris.
Yes. I know.
Hate a donut.
Little bit chubby. I have my moments. Like, yeah, when I came back after photography, I made a book, and that itself took me a couple
food
of
book?
years.
Cookbook?
And I copped it ever since. Like, in the process of making the book, I was eating a lot of Tim Tams, coffee all day, eating, and then before I knew it, I'd been indoors for sort of a few months and caught up with you for a coffee, hopped out of the car, was wearing a white shirt, and it wasn't so flattering. It was a strong wind, but it was blowing, and then I got nicknamed Book Belly.
Yeah, geez, you should have seen this thing. It had its own postcode. The big rig, because he's used to being such a fine specimen. So you got to enjoy yourself sometimes, though, don't you?
Backhanded compliment, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 packs of Tim Tams never hurt anyone.
Well, tell us about you. Speaking of this, I can't believe I let this slide. But the nickname Buddha, where did that come from?
Yeah, they're tough times. They were plentiful virgin days. I was a young kid coming up, world at my feet, a couple of lollies at my feet as well. God, I don't know how it happened. I thought I was fit, like in faction carnivals. We all love faction carnivals in primary school. Always finished like a modest 4th, just off the podium. Never thought I was too big or anything, but then as I got more older into the year 5, year 6, I seemed to just went the shaved lid. I used to have a bowl cut, get the old undercut or wedge. Thanks, Mum and Dad, for those horror haircuts. And then I just went the skin 0. And then with that, I obviously got a little bit fatter. I don't know if I was going into the role or channeling the Buddha or Uncle Fester. I didn't think much of it. I thought I was a bit of a rock star. And then in year 8, I remember I was first couple of weeks of school, high school, always get a warm introductory from some of the older kids. And someone was like, "You look like a Buddha, the big fat Buddha." And he was actually a good bloke and became a good friend of mine, but it just stuck from then.
All right. And so when did you blow in? How old?
I blew in, I think, when I got puberty. Don't know if it was from exercising more or just going through that sort of growth spurt. It was just the old cliche puppy fat. But I tucked it in, got the old nip tuck. And then by like year 11, I was coming into my prime. Never looked back.
Nice.
But I've still got the urges.
And the sport, you for the people who are listening and watching that don't know you, you were highly regarded with your cricket.
Yeah, my family, yeah.
Nah, don't be modest. So, yeah, you actually went to Ireland, played cricket professionally over there?
Yeah, did 3 summers there. That was a bit of fun. Learned how to drink more than play cricket.
Yeah.
But it was grew up playing cricket here, loved cricket, and just kind of fell into it. I was doing surf lifesaving again. That was actually during my fat stage. Didn't want to get the rig out. I was the only kid wearing a rashie with his Speedos. And kind of grew out of that sort of phase of the surf lifesaving. Rain on sand wasn't my thing. I think I enjoyed the kiosk more than the actual activities down the beach. So my dad was like, "Oh, do you want to play cricket?" Then he remember he had a flyer of Mike Hussey at Whitford's Career Club. So I went, yeah, I'll give it a crack. I was playing at primary school. Went down to Whitford's, joined Whitford's Career Club, which is a great junior club. And then kind of never looked back. And then I was lucky enough to play district cricket and then state cricket in juniors and Australia juniors cricket, and then went on to play first grade and then got paid to play away for a few years in Ireland, and was very lucky to end up playing with Mike Hussey as a teammate, which was pretty cool at my club as I got older and was around those squads. So I've always found that quite of a nice memory, having Mike Hussey on the flyer. He would have been young at the time, and then end up playing with him.
Oh, definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah, so...
Do you think if you stood old school Fat Buddha next to Book Belly Wong, who would be pound for pound heavier?
Well, I reckon in year 4 I would have been the same height you are now, so it might have been close contest, but I've seen your jiu-jitsu, so Yeah, you'd have me pound to pound heavier. Yeah, I don't know. You were more of a look like you swallowed a basketball, but you were the skinny fat man. Like
what I can picture from the pictures I've seen, you kind of had chin, belly button.
I had a couple of
just
chins.
nothing in between. It was just hence the name Buddha. So
Yeah, when eyes, chin, fat foot. But I actually swear to God, I do remember I'd been in year 3, and I remember I weighed I don't know what it was, like 32 kilos, or year 5 or whatever. It was somewhere in that year 3, 4, or 5. And I remember I had we did some sort of that skipping. We skip for a heart foundation. You do all the tests.
yeah.
And then ironically, like once you finish those tests, the winner gets like a gold chocolate bar. It didn't make sense. At South Padbury, and we went to the same school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We'll get into that. But yeah, I remember it was all these like sit-up tests, push-up tests, skipping. And once you got marked on how good you did, you literally, the winner got a gold chocolate bar. I don't even know how that makes sense. But I remember weighing myself, and it was like 32 kilos. And I remember one of the boys, he was a ranger at the time, and so he had nothing to talk about or claim. And
I wouldn't be surprised if you're a ranger.
kind of. Yeah, it's the Irish heritage. It's the bad lighting in here.
I've got lots of redhead friends, and
I know
I'm
you
very
do.
fond of rangers.
But I remember weighing myself, and I was like, man, I'm way fatter than Ben and a few other boys. And then I remember I actually, when I looked straight down, I couldn't see my willy, like even back then, because I had like the bowl gut, like that sort of round, chubby gut. And I was like, man, that kind of rattled me. I'm still kind of, maybe I've got that scarred from way deep, but I was like, man, I remember I could not see my dick. I just like gave it the old look around. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad your dick
The
finally.
Buddha days.
Yeah. I'm glad you can see it now and it's fully functioning. You do all right with the ladies, I must say. I've seen, you're like the mayor of Perth. Like, for anyone listening, like, if I go to a coffee with you, between walking from the coffee shop to our car, you run into 10 people and you know everyone.
They all hate me.
I don't know how you know so many people. It blows me away.
Well, we don't walk. We get the gopher.
That's true.
This gopher. Chris is sitting on. But
Yeah.
South Padbury produced some of the finest.
It did.
That's funny how that all worked out.
I know. Went to the same school, but I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
I was
Straight
born
out
in
of Padbury.
79. So
I'm 87. Yeah.
a little bit of an age gap, but some of the same teachers. Mrs. Spurge, God bless her.
Oh, God.
The most textbook library teacher you could
Oh.
ever see.
She looked like a cover from Goosebumps. I've never seen someone with so much warts and so much hate for kids reading, but she was a library teacher. She was scary, man.
Every time I was naughty, I remember I had to do 10 minutes at a time in front of the library, and Miss Spurge would poke her little warty nose out at me and just look at me and shake her head.
She was scary, eh? Everyone always has that one teacher that was everyone remembers. And even when you're an adult, you're scared.
Yeah.
She'd be one of them if she was live. I don't know where she'd be now. I'm assuming 6 foot under, unfortunately. RIP. With a book. Yeah, if you didn't bring your library bag, that was like the worst thing you could do in life.
Yeah,
You were going to pay for it.
I remember, so I finished school class of 96 and then I moved straight down to Margaret River,
Yeah.
chasing surf.
That was it.
Seemed like the thing to do.
Yeah, get away from her.
Yeah.
Do you remember Mr. Gray with the socks?
Mr.
Up
Gray,
to his knee?
yes.
Didn't have to wear shorts. His socks went up so high.
He's probably still there, I reckon. He was
For sure.
a stalwart.
Yeah. He was the man. It's funny, hey, like, yeah, teachers, I think everyone can relate. No matter how old you get, you'll still, if you bump into them in another scenario, you'll still call them Mr. Smith. It would just be automatic.
Mr. Belinsky down Yellingup.
Yeah. Did you
Bruce
meet him?
Coffee. I see him all the time.
Who's he? Sounds like a chocolate bar.
No, he's a legend. Old phys ed teacher.
Yeah. At South Padbury or Padbury?
Padbury High School.
Yeah. Remember Mr. Sheriff's? Was he at Padbury? John Sheriff's? Or
Sheriffs. I remember the name.
Jack Sheriff's uncle. Jack Sheriff's surf photographer.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I remember he brought it up. I bumped into him at a cricket visit once and he was talking about Padbury and then he said he was a teacher there. He remembers you.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't know? But yeah, what about how's life going now with the kids? You mentioned you've got the 2 kids and the beautiful wife. How do you find balancing all your activities with your surf, your passion for the photography and adventurous trips down to document these sort of waves? How do you find family life with job life?
It's hard to find the right mix, but I love my kids. It's being a dad. It's not my calling, and that sounds stupid, but it was kind of. I remember I set goals when I was young. I wanted to do this and this, and I remember I always wanted to have kids so I could be a good dad, and that's pretty much my whole life now is trying to be the best dad I can. So family holidays are awesome, but yeah, have to find time to do like photography and that sort of thing, go on trips. But lately or last week managed to combine the two, so went down on a family holiday but got to go shoot photos as well, so that was cool.
Yeah, where'd you guys go?
Went down to Denmark, but yeah, waves weren't as good as we'd hoped.
Yeah.
Make do with what you got, I guess.
Yeah. What about, you've obviously done a lot of travelling in terms of wave exploration. What would be your favourite part of the coast?
Oh, the whole of Western Australia is amazing. I mean, Perth itself, we don't have great waves. Well, we've got no waves actually, but the closest thing we've got is Rottnest. But apart from Perth, the rest of the coast, like up north, it's incredible. Down south, incredible. So my favourite part is definitely down towards Esperance. Yeah. It's the most remote. You go down there, you don't see another human for the entire trip, basically. So you just go exploring. That's my favourite place for sure.
And you got, for those that wouldn't know, you've obviously, well, I know you found a lot of the waves that are on the WA coast. There you go. It's all part of, it's not just luck, it's a lot of study and research and time goes into trying to find those waves. And a lot of times, I'm sure you get skunked. For those listening, that wasn't Optimus Prime. That's our bottle opener for the West Coast Eagles. Shout out to Nick Nat. But yeah, back to, so a lot of exploration goes into those, a lot of planning goes into those trips. How do you find that whole sort of process? Like, you obviously thrive off it, but obviously with those, there's a lot of risk involved. And I know you've had your fair share of stories where there's been some close calls with some of the boys. Do you want to elaborate on some of those adventures?
Probably the craziest story was back in the detention days when I was with Chad Jackson and Sean Virtue, and we were surfing deep in Esperance looking for this wave, and this is like one of the Cyclops. It's pretty much the world's heaviest wave. Pound for pound it is for sure. Yeah. There's just nothing that breaks like it. And that was an eye-opener really. To cut a real long story short, my friend Chad, we've rocked up and we're miles from anywhere, and he's just paddled straight out, paddled deep, pulled into a wave and just got smashed on the reef. He's popped up, he's gone white as a ghost. And we're like, oh no, this is not good. We're miles away from any sort of hospital and help. So
what goes through your head at that point other than
that was...
Is it a fight or flight sort of?
A little bit. That was almost one of the helpless I can recall feeling. Yeah. Like I had to leave Chad and Sean out bobbing in the middle of the ocean. Chad's laying on a bodyboard like it's a stretcher kind of thing. And I knew straight away he'd broken his back, just the way he looked and the way Chad is. He's a man's man. He's not going to show any pain.
He's a strong man.
Yeah.
Like very proud.
Yeah. And I could just see in him, he didn't look right. So I've turned around and driven to shore to try to find help or do something, and I just remember feeling helpless. Yeah. But in the end, managed to go to shore, found a boat, dragged a boat out to him. We put him in the boat, managed to find help, and then got him to hospital that night. Which
how far away was hospital?
Well, I'd say he would have broke his back at about 8 a.m. because we would have got up crack of dawn, and he didn't get to hospital till about 7:30, 8 p.m. at night.
That's insane.
12 hours of the day,
And he's had full recovery.
Well, that's the only good thing about this story is that he's alive and kicking and surfs still. He's got kids now, so...
Yeah, he surfs just as hard as ever, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's incredible. For those that don't really know the water, and for those that do, they can, you still can't comprehend how crazy that is. Like, that wave in itself, if you look up Cyclops, Western Australia, you will see what Chris is talking about and how it's mental.
It is.
That it leaves someone out there floating in the bobbing in the ocean, get him into shore. You literally could not feel more vulnerable if you tried.
Yeah, that whole area is spooky, and especially we've been back. Like I've been going back more recently with some surfers, Kirby Brown and Brad Norris, and they're like Chad. They just charge any wave. So at any given point, I don't know.
you literally put your faith in God's hands, eh?
That's right. And these guys, they just charge into anything. So you're excited because you want to get these amazing photos, but at the same time, you want your friend to
survive and come home with you.
Yeah,
to see the photo.
Yeah, and they're just that type. Them two guys, like we'll have to get Brad Norris on. He's a good friend, so we'll get him on here next time. He can tell us some stories. But
And big chopper, Reed.
yeah, they just go for it.
They're like Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan of toe surfing, don't they? They just get the job done. But even talking to Chop and Brad, and they're friends of mine as well, and you can let the guard down and things like that when you're around your friends. But I always thought, like everyone knows, they've got like a screw loose in terms of like how much balls they have. They've got the biggest balls ever. Like, but then you chat to them and they go, "No, we're shit scared."
Yeah,
that we just do it because you think in your head they're just fearless and they're just a different breed, but they're like so honest about it. No, we are shitting ourselves.
That's right.
But we're gonna let go of that rope and just see what happens.
Yeah,
you've got to fucking take your hat off to them. It's crazy.
Yeah, people get into their zones. It's like, I know Danny Grin, he's obviously world famous boxer, and I know he looks he looks at these guys and he can't believe it, like what they do. But then you ask Chop and Norris, they look at Greeny, they're like, I can't believe what he does. He
gets in the ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's different levels. Everyone.
Courage comes in many shapes and forms.
That's right. Yeah.
I just think the ocean's so, we're so minor to itself. Like we're mere mortals compared to what Mother Nature can throw up at us, and she reminds us all the time about that.
Yeah.
Like even now, we can swim and we can go out deep, and you can go explore these crazy waves, and you can tame them if that is the right word to use. But it always has a last laugh, and you're still so out of your league. A great white shark or something might eat you. Anything can happen out there. Yeah. Jellyfish can sting you. Like the unknown is insane.
That's what them surf trips, them exploring trips, that sums it up. Like when we get back to land, you're almost on your hands and knees. You want to kiss the ground because you're just that happy you've made it back. You know. Yeah. It's like you feel in the morning when you're going out, you feel like you're going to war. And then
100%.
You shoot the photos, they surf the waves, and then the cohesiveness between the group, it's unparalleled to me anyway. That's why it draws me back. Like all these years later, I'm still going down there, and
we definitely lead the way. What are your thoughts on all the toe surfing and the life vests and everything? Do you think it's comes to a limit where can guys push it any harder than they are at the moment? It looks like the right every time you look at you guys go down for a certain swell when everyone's out there. No one's got no limits now. They're just everyone's pushing each other, and when will it get too much? Can it even?
I don't even know, but it definitely seems like there's a trend now with people like paddling again. Obviously, skis sort of were popular, and now there's a bit of a movement for people paddling. So the right would be interesting, sort of this season and next season. I think we might see some people attempt for the first time to paddle in.
Stand up paddling.
That's right. Yeah.
That's crazy. Who's the first person you ever saw paddle out there? I know that story. Actually, I know the story already, but I think it's good to share.
Hardy was the first person I saw, and he needs no introduction in the bodyboard circles. Everyone knows him, but Ryan Hardy's his full name, and he's just a charger. Loves surfing, and he paddled out the right from the shore. Didn't even use the ski to get out there, and went out by himself. Might I add.
Yeah, didn't he miss the car trip or something?
No, he knew what he was doing. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to paddle out there.
That's crazy.
So he's paddled out through a 10 to 12 foot shorey, salmon infested waters by himself in the dark.
And he tuna chum hanging off his wetsuit just for extra points.
As we rock up, we're in the skis and we just can see this wave in the distance barreling, and then we see this little black dot and we're like, that can't be Hardy. And then next thing we know, we see someone take off and we're all just cheering, and then he disappears. And then everyone's like, oh no. And then all of a sudden he just flies in the air. He just got this massive pit, like a 12-foot pit, no one out. And he just flies into the air with his arms out like Jesus Christ.
All the way to heaven. Just went to
He
heaven.
actually floated. Like
he just kept going. And he walked on water back to land and left.
Hardy's world's nicest guy. Like, we've got to get him on too.
He's the biggest hellman ever. In terms of bodyboarding, he's the GOAT for sure.
Yeah. He's pretty much... with like my movies back in the day, they were successful on the back of having guys like Hardy to film. So
we had like the perfect team, didn't you? Like you knew what you were doing creativity wise, and you had the perfect actors.
That's right.
In front of camera, you got to have both.
Yeah.
But his level of bodyboarding, it definitely inspired a whole generation of guys.
Yeah, and he's still going. He's
timeless.
He's doing his coaching now, which is awesome.
With Changu, he does all the bodyboarding camps, doesn't he?
Yeah, makes his own wetsuits, reflex wetsuits. So
He is Jesus. Hey? Makes sandals.
Walks on water.
Yeah, that's insane. And what about Brad? Brad's recently, obviously, Brad's hard work and his dedication and his talent has got him probably on the forefront of respect from the big wave sort of circuit amongst all his peers. Brad Norris, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, he's recently got invited to South America, the Peru Big Wave Challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, Brad's gonna go over there for that competition.
Have you seen him develop? You've been on heaps of trips with him.
I have, yeah, more so the last couple of years, but he's we call him full throttle. He's 110% at everything. So if he goes to a comp, no matter what the conditions are, he's going to put his head down, he'll paddle and he'll go.
Yeah, nothing will hold him
So,
back.
Yeah,
hey?
he'll do well regardless.
Similar to when he's on a Sunday sesh having a few beers. He'll be given 180%. Nothing will hold him back. I think they just shut up. Pee break.
I remember the first time I heard, because I only knew his name was Buddha, and then on Facebook there was this Brian Shields wanted to be my friend. I remember thinking, Brian Shields, what a ridiculous name. And then weeks later, someone's called him Brian. I was like, is your name Brian? And then he's gone, yeah, Brian Shields. And I was like, my God, you do not look like a Brian Shields. But I've just gotten so used to him that the name no longer seems funny. But I remember the first time I heard it, I just couldn't believe it. Looks a little bit like Hugh Hefner. No, sorry. Hugh Grant, should I say? Respect to Hef. You've probably slayed the same amount of girls.
No, wish I had his robe. Man, Brian even trips me out. I was like, do my parents hate me that much? They call me Brian.
But the name, it seems totally normal to me now.
Nah, it sounds like the friendly 60-year-old gay neighbour. Like, Brian's having us over for roast dinners.
A little bit pedophile.
Brian's creepy. I've seen him have those 18-year-old boys over. It's just weird. And then Dials, my mate Darren Miles, who we met when we were both 15 at a high school party, as you do. His nickname was Buddha as well. So do you know that story? He was called Buddha too, and we always kind of crossed over with circles of friends, and people would be like, Buddha? Nah, that's the wrong Buddha. They'd always describe one of us and different. They go, nah, Buddha I know is freckly and fat. And then that'd be me. And then the other one's like, nah, Buddha, Darren, like he's a heartthrob because all the girls loved him, but he can't get his dick up because he used to have too much Jack Daniels and Coke, and then he reckoned that was his excuse and he couldn't get it up. On that note, while we're talking about him, I'll tell you a funny story in a sec about him. But yeah, so we met under at a party, and then it was like, Buddha. And then that's how we got it. And I go, what's your real name? And he goes, Darren. Yeah. And I was like, that's the gayest name. and then he was like, what's yours? Like Brian. And we're like, Brian and Darren, like both called Buddha. It's Brian and Darren. It literally sounds like a gay couple next door.
He's had
real friendly. Like
he's had to relinquish the name. You out-Buddha'd him.
I out-Buddha'd him, yeah, because I was fatter. Yeah, full pound to pound. But it's just funny, Brian and Darren. They don't suit who we are. They sound like 6-year-old men.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy you brought that story up.
I'll tell you the funny story about Darren though while we're actually on air, and he'll probably get angry about this, but it's hilarious. So within the first 2 months of knowing him, Clint, Thomas, and a few of the boys went to pick him up for school, and they went to Ocean Reef Primary. And when you walked into Darren's house, he had his front door. If you were facing the front door, directly to your left, there was the computer window, like the office window, and you could see in. The boys are knocking on the door like 8:15 in the morning, getting Darren before school. And they look to the left, and Darren's sitting on his computer doing some internet banking, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no.
And they looked in, and he's caught eyes with them. They've caught direct eyes with them. They've locked eye contact. And then he's looked at him in shock and army rolled off the computer chair with his pants down. Pants down to his ankles, caught in the act doing some internet banking. And then he comes to the door like nothing happened. Like the most awkward thing ever. So that is the best story I ever have of Darren, the fake Buddha. But, oh, God, I would have paid to have been a fly on the wall that day.
Oh.
It's so funny. And he'll deny that too, but it's 100% proof. It's fact.
I think we're going to have to get Dials on here one day for a rebuttal for this. It's
just
only
army
fair.
rolled off the chair. Just giving it the old 5-hand shuffle. Oh, it's the best thing.
Oh.
What about your nickname, Wong?
Well, yeah, well,
White or Wong?
back when the semi-professional days, I was in a Japanese magazine and the caption just read Chris Wong.
That is so good.
And ever since, yeah, I've just adopted Wong.
Stuck it.
Yeah.
It's so funny how nicknames just happen, hey?
Yeah. That's growing up in Australia, you've got to have a thick skin. So any nicknames, social media, you just got to get used to it, and you just can't take yourself too seriously, can you?
Nah, you can't take anything too seriously, to be honest. Like, we've all so many bad things happen in the world. You don't need to delve on the minor issues.
That's right.
Just have fun. We've always been like that, haven't we? Like, if you take things to heart, there's going to be something every day that upsets you or annoys you.
Yeah.
Especially with social media these days, you've got a lot of followers, you've got the potential to have a lot of backlash or people control. But if you feed fuel to the fire, you're gonna get burned. Like,
yeah. Well, my followers, they're generally pretty good. Like the other day, I put a post up and it had sort of, I can't remember, I think 200 or 300 comments on it. It was almost starting to go down the bodyboard versus surfer thing, but it was kind of a ski versus paddle thing. Out of 300 odd comments, I only had to delete 2 comments, I think.
Yeah.
So, but you look on a different athletes page like LeBron or something, and you're just going to get haters galore. Or Conor McGregor, like people just, I don't know, they don't have anything better to do, so they jump online and lash out.
100%. I just think obviously some of them have their various issues, but it has to be, I'm not a Dr. Phil or anything, but it has to have something to do with where their life's currently at.
I think so too.
And it's a reflection of that.
Yeah. A lot of the time though, people start being negative and write stuff like that without even really thinking about what they're doing. I think they just
hope to get a reaction. I reckon almost they want to get a reply from that celebrity.
That's right.
And then they'll screen dump it, and then they'll post on Instagram, and then they secretly love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. I mean, like, you just can't take comments too serious, like you say. People just trolling for a response, and
it's a vicious sort of circle. It's weird. Like, there's a tall poppy syndrome. I think Australia, maybe I'm a bit naive with it, but I do think Australia are a little bit bad when it comes to tall poppy syndrome.
Oh, I
feel like anyone that we have that's successful, someone's got to cut them down and really go after them. No one can just like praise someone and get around them.
Famine thinking. It's everywhere. Like even within surfing circles, like as a photographer on there, I'm like proud of my fellow photographers.
Yeah.
Like I'll pump other photographers up and like I share their photos and whatnot. But then every now and then you get people that I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's jealousy or what, but they compare themselves or they're competitive, whereas you don't need to be like that. Like one person's success can be your success, you know?
Exactly.
You share. That's the way I've always thought anyway. But
there's plenty of food for everyone to eat.
Exactly.
You're all doing your thing, you're all trying your hardest. There's plenty out there for everyone to be successful.
Yeah. That's why I guess how I've got drawn to you, I guess, because you've got a good energy to you, so you're a positive person, and that's something I'd rather surround myself with people that have this good positive energy that want to bring people up. So.
Yeah, well, it's likewise, man. I appreciate that, but we have fun. I'm sure we got a lot of haters as well, but I've always tried to be who I am. I am who I am, and I know you are. That's why you've attracted the people you're like that are surrounding you. Like they've got the exact same energy, and then all the boys. Yeah, I think it's important. If you hang out with negative people, you just end up sitting around and making excuses as to why me or why this or they're getting that or I'm not getting this, and you don't get anywhere productive with it.
That's right. Yeah,
just get on with it and have fun.
That's why the best thing I think for me to use Instagram, social media, I use it to get inspired by people, like, because I don't know, I can lay in bed all day and be uninspired, but all it takes is I look at one sort of photo that another photographer's taken and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then
gets you pumped. And
then you get out of bed and you want to do the next sort of thing. So that's why I always love having projects to work on.
And I remember when you had Instagram for the start and you had it on private. It was a full family sort of album. You didn't even try feed your fans or whatever it is of like that you were on there. You know what I mean? It was you just Chris White, happy doing your thing. You stopped the bodyboarding movies. You had been doing photography. You had a bit of an intermission, and you were just happy with cruising. And then you were like, oh, I'm actually going to get back into photography now, and that's my passion, and came out of your intermission halftime break.
Yeah, exactly.
And then pumped it up, and it must have been amazing. I know because you're a very humble guy, but like how quickly it's blown up. In that, it's only been a few years, and you're at you got a very big following now, and you've brought a book out since. And I know it's motivating for us as friends to see that you were just like, oh, yep, I've done with that part of my life of relaxing. Now I'm going to get back into my passion again and chase my dreams again. And you see how many people love your work and respond to you.
Yeah.
It's motivating to see. Personally,
Cheers.
I've been lucky enough to be there through it. I've like onwards and upwards.
Yeah. No, I wish I was more proactive on Instagram from the beginning, like you're saying. But yeah, at the start, I was just it was just family, and then
that's important as well, though.
Yeah, as I got back into photography, though, I started posting pictures, and then it almost becomes like a game, and you want to. I remember I had like 500 followers, and I'd see someone with 10,000 followers, and be like, "Oh, imagine having 10,000 followers. That would be so cool." And then like I started posting photos, got stuck in the game, and then followers started coming up, and then once I sort of started building a good follower base, I kept posting photos, and then I don't know when Instagram sort of around the time they left chronological order and went to the new algorithm, I kind of lost interest a bit with social media. But it's hard now to sort of like in that 2-year period, like you were saying, I sort of grew 50,000 followers, and then since the new algorithm, I've probably lost followers. Like go up hardly anything, but
everyone would share the same sort of
that's right.
So why is that though? I don't get
what it is. The new algorithm basically limits who sees your post. So say I've got 100 followers and I post a picture today, only 10 people are going to see it, 10%, or for someone with a large follower, that only 10% of people see that photo. Whereas back in the day, you put a photo out and every one of your followers would see it.
Yeah, literally the time you put it up would document, and you'd be able to, you just follow that. So 2 hours, 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's all it went. It didn't matter who you were. It was just in terms of the timing.
So now if you want to build an account nowadays, you've got to post a photo and you've got to play the game, which is you've got to like other people's photos, so their photos show up in your feed. You've got to interact with people on your posts. Yeah. And then if you do all these things, the algorithm will show your account to other people. But if you just post a photo, don't reply to anyone, don't like anyone's photos,
it won't show up.
Then your followers won't go up.
So basically, they want you to, the more you use data on their app, and you're live in their community, they'll reward you for your service.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of love-hate with Instagram.
It's good to get your work out, but I know exactly they're trying to make it harder and harder for
businesses,
little man or little woman or the businesses to make money.
That's right.
Make amends.
Because at the end of the day, it's a free app, so can't complain in that.
But they share, and also I reckon they share our data in terms. We all know that, but the longer you're on the app for, and if you put a picture up and then you've got to play the game and like 12 other people's photos that have just liked yours, and then comment and then go amongst the community, they're looking at your market research and seeing what you're liking, what you're doing, and then they sell that info out. So
they are tech. They can even
so tech.
They judge when you're scrolling down your phone. If you just scroll straight past someone's photo, their algorithm picks that up.
Yeah.
They can pick up how long people are pausing to look at your photo.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's scary.
They can monitor how many direct messages you're getting, how much people are hitting your stories, all that stuff.
Remember I was telling you about how I was talking about trips to Kilkenny in Ireland. I was talking about a number of things like LeBron James and vintage shop, all this stuff that I was speaking about on this certain day. And it all came up in that day on my sponsored post. It definitely reads your microphone.
It's sketchy, yeah.
Because I don't actually look at that stuff. I've never gone, what's happening in Kilkenny Island? That was a one-off conversation I was having with someone.
Well, I've got my phone
and then
here,
I logged in and it said, Irish bus tours to Kilkenny Island. Book today.
Yeah.
Paddy wagons.
This should be podcast featuring Buddha, Wongi and Siri.
Yeah, she's on.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's scary to think.
Have a Panadol, Siri. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It actually is. But the more you think about it, the deeper you go on the rabbit hole, the less you want to know it.
I know.
But it's beautiful. Like social media obviously has got some great purposes, but then it's the world we live in though. It's only going to get
to me now
more tech.
For business wise, it's all the business I get through Instagram. Yeah. Like the surf industry itself, it's pretty small. There's not too much money. Like if you're just a surf photographer, like you're doing it tough to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So the success I've had, I've been lucky. I've got non-disclosure agreements with a lot of the people I deal with, but I've had to go outside the surf industry to make a decent dollar with photography.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah, the form of communication lines are direct, and you can talk to someone in Africa that wants your work in Perth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of it.
Someone in America.
And I hope they don't change it too much in terms of making it harder and harder, like because it's a free app. Or if they did charge, I think people would still pay because they can see the benefits of Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But it's just scary to know that all that information is being leaked out. But again, it's no new news to everyone. Everyone kind of accepts that. You kind of don't want to know about it, but you know what's happening.
Yeah.
So, but it is insane the way how fast it's grown. But yeah, again, you can form. Well, people are making fully fledged careers out of taking photos of their asses in Canggu, wearing a bikini, holding a fucking coconut. And then they get inspiration. They're like public figures, and they get flown around the world to get their boobs out and their bum out. And good on it, I guess. Like you can write it off because it's funny, but it's also well played to them. They're just working within the rules.
What about Danny Brigoli? Is it the girl who's on Dr. Phil?
Oh, is that the
Cash Me Outside?
Yeah, I know.
That is. To me, that's the definition of mind-blowing.
Yeah. She became a meme, hey, internet sensation
I'm
just
look
from
her up.
that.
How many followers do you guess that she has?
Well, oh God, I don't even know.
This is a girl that got famous for being rude, basically.
She said, cash me outside. Hey. Like,
well,
she's just like a redneck.
She was on with her mum and the way she was treating her mum.
Yeah. And then she ended up being on an aeroplane. That footage went out and she had to get kicked off with security or something because everyone was saying her quote while she was trying to find her seat or something stupid.
Oh, I don't know. I can't even find it.
And now she's like, she's just one of those overnight meme sensations from being on Dr.
She's
Phil.
a rap star.
Was she originally a rapper or just a redneck?
Nah, she was just a redneck. Now she's recorded songs.
It's a feel-good story, eh?
It is a feel-good story.
Mile.
Like, I guess she's made something out of nothing, so I respect and love the shit out of that.
That's what I mean, man. If you hit that golden ticket where you can land something that somehow the world embraces and they catch onto it, literally the world's at your feet.
That's right. It's
insane.
Oh, I know her name. It's Bad Girl Riri or something like that.
That's Rihanna. She's a page there.
Is it?
Just check that out while we're here anyway. Nah, I don't know. Maybe she's deleted it because she got all trolls. Her whole thing would be trolls, surely.
No, well, she can't delete it because this is how she's become famous.
Maybe she made that much where she just cashed me outside now. She's cashed out.
I can't believe I can't find it. That's the new algorithm. You try and search something, you can't even find them now.
Yeah, what were you saying before about being blindsided or whatever?
Shadow banned. It's a big rabbit hole, but basically your account gets shadow banned really easily. You can just hashtag something repeatedly through all your posts, and then all of a sudden you're shadow banned, which basically means no one can find your account through searching hashtags. The only way they'd get it is if they type in the exact handle into the search bar.
So is that for, without going too deep into it, is that for business Instagrams only, or is that for people that like everyone, everyday users like us?
Everyday users. I see they brought
what
that.
Is the benefits of them doing that though? I don't get it in terms of like you're not paying bots, to use the app.
Because what it is, that it's meant to identify spammy behaviour. So if you like more than 60 photos within an hour or something, I think you get shadow banned. Or if you do more than 60 comments in an hour, because they see that as a potential bot. Yeah. So they shut it down. But there's people that are using their account that genuinely like that many photos, and then. But at the end of the day, all it's doing is limiting your followers and what are followers like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Business, it doesn't really matter. It's your business. You're trying to push something out. Speaking of shutting things down, what is the most trouble you've been in getting shut down? Your antics with detention, like what? Any stories that people have been big fans of your work. What is some information they would never know other than just seeing what's on the DVDs? Because obviously a lot of work goes in behind the scenes, and you guys would have done some dumb shit that's been. It went pear-shaped. So. Yeah,
the most trouble I think I got in. Well, definitely, because I had to go down to the police station. But we were... it was around Tension 3 or something, and me and this guy were down at Hillary's Marina, and he was riding a little Pee-wee 50 motorbike, and I was filming with a little hidden camera in a makeup bag or some crap. And I was just in the shop filming, and he's come in the chemist on a motorbike, ripping through the alley, through the aisles, and then he's bailed, and then I've bailed. And then
Where'd you go out of? Obviously, Hillary's Marine, everyone knows pretty well.
yeah, I was in. I don't think the pharmacy's there anymore, but he just went in the pharmacy and then straight out in the car park, and then I think we just bailed.
Booted it, yeah.
And turns out the guy in the barber across the road recognised.
Milk barber.
Nice little
plug.
plug. Yeah. No, at the time it was a different barber, and he's recognised. He's gone, oh, that's Chris White, yada yada, does these videos, and then next thing you know, I think it was that night even, I was out, but police come knocking on my door, and for my mum, she's been through some stuff, and she never wants to see a policeman knock on the door, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, she's opened the door, cops are there, and she's like, oh, what's happened? And then they're like, is Chris here? And I was out at the time, and she's gone, no,
he's on the motorbike.
he's not home. And then she's like, what's the problem? And then he's explained to her, I think he was involved in something down Hillary's. And then turns out the policeman was a former student of my mum's because she was an English teacher. So
That's so good.
that probably helped. And she said, look, Chris is a good kid. Thanks, Mum.
Spell that. It's another English
And
test.
she's just said, like, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to come? And then the guy said, yeah, he's got to come down the station. He's got to tell us what's happened. And then, so I've got home, Mum's told me, and I thought, oh, shit.
Just buy the DVD and find out.
I don't want to go down to the police station. And then she's like, no, just go down. You haven't really done anything wrong. Just tell them what you've done. And if they ask about your friend, just, like, keep tight-lipped. And I've kind of like, oh, sweet. So I've taken Mum's advice. Next day, gone down to the police station, faced the music, and the guys, I've just fessed up, said, yeah, that was me. Was my friend on the motorbike. And he's like, so who was your friend? I'm like, oh, I don't want to say it was just my friend, but do whatever you want to me.
Yeah.
I'll own up to what I've done.
Not going to snitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to snitch on my friend. So then he's kind of like, but what's his name? I was just, no, I'm not telling you his name.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a bit of back and forth, and at the end of the day, they couldn't really make me reveal too much. And then he's just gone, well, we might summons you to court, you're going to have to give his name up in court. And I was just like, do what you got to do. Yeah. And walked out of there, and then I was waiting for the summons, like pretty much checking the mailbox all the time. It just never came. So
yeah, it's funny, eh?
There's probably some,
That was too much paperwork for them anyway.
At the end
you really care, like what were you doing, motorbike through
exactly
on a PW50? We're going to roll someone's ankle.
Yeah, we hadn't done.
Did you air the footage, or did you cut that bit out?
To be honest, I can't even remember if it made the movie. Yeah. I think maybe it was in there.
Just like a quick snippet.
Yeah,
you were at the police station on the bike.
But yeah, apart from that was probably the only time.
What about all the current affairs stuff? Because I remember, obviously, we watching as viewers, we felt like we were along for the ride. Excuse the pun. And I remember that current affairs stuff, and I just remember thinking, this is crazy. This has been blown out of proportion.
Yeah,
like boys from Perth just having fun, and now some muppet on the current affairs talking about how Australia's in disarray, the youth.
Yeah, that was heavy. Originally, the current affairs sort of got in contact. They're like, oh, we want to do this story on you, puff piece, like trying to make out like it was going to be a good story. Yeah, and I was a bit sus. Mum was sus, and then I've asked some advice. I think I asked Hughesy's dad, Kim Hughes, ex-Australian cricket captain. He was like, mate, don't talk to the media.
Yeah,
you don't need to. You know what I mean? Like, so I've just said nothing to them, and then they've brought this story out, and they've just lumped me in with. I can't even remember the exact story, but somehow there was guys in cars doing burnouts, running over people, and they lumped my movie in with these bogans or whatever. And then the story just kind of blew up, and then...
That's funny though, good publicity.
Yeah, well it was.
Any publicity.
Yeah, and then Today Tonight got on board, they ring me up, they're like, oh, we want to show your side of the story, and then I was like, no, like, I don't want to talk to anyone about it, like, it is what it is. And then, yeah, they got to the point where there was two different news stations parked out the front of the house, like the white van with cameras. Yeah, and it's like, so I was stuck indoors for a couple of days because I didn't want to walk out there because I know as soon as I got out there, there's going to be the camera in the face, and I was going to be that asshole you see on the current affair, like hitting the camera
with the bag on your head.
Yeah. So what I did, I just invited all my friends around, so they're just filming like.
All the boys?
All these different friends rocking up, and I was saying to someone...
that's so funny.
Yeah, I was saying to someone after, I should have just got chick after chick, and then I would have just looked like this starter.
Just heaps of strippers?
Should have played it up a bit more. But
bring up the Commodore Club and got everyone from the Commodore, all the bogans, they put on the story.
I just wanted to go away.
So how long they camp out for?
It was 2 solid days.
No way.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
But it was good for me in the end because all the videos sold out.
Oh, and you could use that footage because
Yeah.
that was in the videos, eh?
Yeah.
So they just end up going away and they aired their own thing.
That's it. It's a news story one day, and then a week later,
No one
it's all
cares.
forgotten about. Exactly.
Yeah.
You move on.
And the when they aired that, I think it was nothing really bad anyway. They didn't have enough, did they?
No.
They just wanted to get those
No.
footage of you walking out the house.
They had a dude with the, and they black out their face and they
Yeah.
put the voice over and they make him sound different.
They did that.
They did that, like trying to make out that it was me.
What? You can't do that.
It was ridiculous.
It was probably Piggo.
I think that show, like people
it's a
now,
joke.
yeah, I watch it now for entertainment. I don't see it as news. I see
it's so
it's
funny.
comedy. Yeah,
I was writing it off the other day. I was like, if you want to fucking know what Coles and Woolworths are doing with home brand and black and gold, you just go on a current affair.
Yeah.
They just put up the worst.
They just-
They repeat every segment as well. Like
Yeah.
every year they'll have Coles versus Woolworths. We'll tell you the real truth. You're like, no one cares.
yeah, that's it.
It's 40 cents you're going to save.
That's funny. That's why
It's
like
the shittest reporting.
this form of media now, podcasts. It's
Way to go.
that's all I listen to when I travel on a long trip. I whack on a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. You control your own. There's no censorship. You control your own media. You control your own content. There's no like ads in the middle constantly or crap like Taylor Swift songs. It's the way to go. And again, it's 2018. Everyone's kind of getting more switched on. They know what they want and they tune in or they tune out. That's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, I love projects, and I thought, why not do a podcast? We've got we've got some we've got a follower base.
Yeah. Just have fun with it. People
yeah.
want to listen, they can. They
So
can't.
hopefully, we can get some good guests in over the coming months.
Yeah.
Mitch Johnson's a good friend of yours, so we'll have to have him in.
Yeah, we'll get Mitch when he goes back from India. Hopefully, or they're halfway through the IPL, so we'll get him in if he hasn't got mud butt from all the Indian curries and he recovers well. I'm sure he'll be right. We'll get Nick Natanui on. Hopefully, we'll get him on very shortly. We've already been speaking to those boys.
Yeah.
And
Get Jack Robbo down south.
chat Robbo and a few of the boys down there. Try cater for everyone. If anyone's got any suggestions as well, we'll make sure that they go on our Instagrams.
Yeah, I'll do a post on my account. I'll ask any stories people want to hear. It's
Yeah.
fun sort of recapping them.
Yeah,
So
100%.
my handle's at Chris Whitey.
Yeah, and mine's Dolly_Doctor with 2 R's because they took my old account off me for getting nude. I striked out, so I had to add an extra R to Doctor.
Dolly_Doctor.
Yeah, it's French.
And then we've got our Grin Reapers, Grin_Reapers.
Yep. So follow that. We will post all the information regarding upcoming podcasts, previous podcasts, and yeah, as we said, if you want to give us any suggestions on guests, we're open to that because we literally want to interview everyone and anyone, and we're gonna have fun with it along the way. And yeah, we're keen for any feedback.
Sounds good, bro. I've had a blast.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Tune in next week.
Who the fuck was that, man?